Today I'm going to do a tutorial or a how-to on the way I've decided to do super elevations. I've done a lot of reading and looking through forums and watching YouTube videos, and this is a way that I found that I thought would work best for me. So I didn't come up with it myself. And I actually got it from a book, Basic Track Work for Model Railroaders by Jeff Wilson. And on page 40, he goes through how to do super elevations. And what he uses is strips of styrene, 10 thousandths thick. And that worked out perfect because I have a bunch of these that I use for other models and buildings. So I'm going to go over how to use this, and I'm going to kind of go through it step by step. I'll show you how I do it on a circle, but I'll speed it up for you because it takes a really long time, and it's kind of monotonous, but I think it'll work out really well in the end. What Jeff Wilson says to do is to take the longest train that you have for your layout, and that's where the change in elevation is going to go. So right now, as of right now, this is the longest train that I have, and it's about 65 feet. So I'm going to start it even with this one on this side. It's away from my turnout, so it won't interfere with the turnout being off a little bit, and because it should be, this is where the turnout should go, right about there. And so this, as you see, I already did a piece here, this circle, and so I stopped it right before this turnout started, so it'll be nice, smooth transition, and this one will be well out of the way. So, but I'll start it right here. I'll make a mark over in the middle somewhere, and then also I'll come on the other side and make a mark, and then I'll move it in. And I'll do another mark. So this one I did 1 step, 2, and then 3. So I only did 3 levels. 1, 2, and then 3. So that will end up being 4/10 of an inch higher from the base all the way to the middle and then back down. That's what I did on the outer loop right here. I only went up 4/10, and it seemed to be a good height. So right now I'm going to go over how to start laying it, how I cut it and lay it down. So what I do is I take my styrene and I take my ruler that I printed off the internet, and I'll use the metric side because I'm just doing really small increments here. And I take it and I do like 3 millimeters off the edge there. Come down here 3 millimeters off the edge. And then I'll make my line like that. Cut it. Then I have a 3 millimeter strip. They do curl, and that becomes a problem when you're trying to lay it down. So hopefully we won't have to deal with that too much. So right now I'll go over how we're going to lay this down. I've been having pretty good luck with Elmer's glue, 100% when I lay it down. What I like to do is, since we're going on a curve, I'll cut it on an angle like this. I'll cut it and then I'll get that angle there, and then I cut it the same direction, so I get that kind of, I guess this would be a trapezoid. And then I'll take the other one and I'll do the same thing. I'll cut it this way, take my other one up, and I'll cut it that way. So I get a bunch, and then bunch like these, and then when I place it around, it'll be able to go into a curve. So this is my first one. It's got the flat edge there, and that's how I'll start it off. When I first started this, I took my tape measure and I went down like this, and I measured in, exactly where it would be, but that became extremely tedious. What you want to do, I'll just use this section of track, is when you lay it down, you want it to be right on the edge there. So I'll put this down as if it was glued, and you put this down and it's going to be right on the edge like that. So do that super elevation right along the edge, and that's why I was measuring in the whole way, like I showed before. But as you can see over here, I just kind of laid it down, and this is not the right radius, but it goes right along the edge there, so it works out perfect. So you don't have to go crazy about measuring how far in it'll be. I'll just do this real quick so you can kind of see in regular motion what it's like. This is bowing that way, so I'm going to put it down flat like that. And then I'll take my edge right there that's on an angle, and I'll put it down to match that one in there. And the same thing goes with this. It's on an angle this way, so I'll put it down that way. And I'll just put it a little bit in. Okay, now you can see the edges there, how they're on the angle. And that'll allow me to make my curve. And it's in a little bit from the edge there to kind of, it's just a small gauge. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's kind of something I learned as I was going around. So I'll speed this up, and we'll kind of conclude it after that. So that's how I do super elevations. It was really easy. I think it's a great way of doing it. There are many good ways out there of doing it, but this one I think works the best for me. It's very tedious and time consuming, but in the end it'll give a great look as the train's going around the corner, around the curve. And I use the 100% I used 100% Elmer's glue. It takes a while to dry, and it allows the plastic to lift up a little bit. So my recommendation is not to use the Elmer's glue. Maybe do a CA glue. It'll dry quicker, and but for what I'm doing right now, I'm using Elmer's glue just because if I screw something up, I'll be able to reverse it. I can just add water to it and take it up and redo it. So that's the reason I'm doing that. Maybe once I get more comfortable with everything, I'll be doing CA glue. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe.
It makes sense if you don't think about it.
High five. Good job.